My dear, I chose you with my soul, not with my checklist. I whispered yes to you while screaming no inside. You weren't perfect for me, but your chaos matched mine. I knew you'd ruin me, but I stayed anyway. You don't fit my dreams, you invaded them. I never wanted someone like you, yet here I am. You're everything I warned myself about, but softer. You are not what I prayed for, but maybe what I deserved. I fought my feelings, but they chose you ruthlessly. You weren't ideal, you were inevitable. I didn't imagine us, but I'd still memorized you. You're the kind of wrong that feels like home. I didn't expect you. I just couldn't unfeel you. You're not right for me, but no one else fits. I wanted calm. You brought wild storms I never escaped. I stayed for the ache that felt alive. You weren't my type, you were my test. I kept picking you over peace. I outgrew you. But I still miss your chaos. I knew better. I loved anyway. You weren't my path, but I walked to you barefoot. You weren't who I dreamed of. You were who I bled for. You're the book I never should have opened, but memorized anyway. I wanted safe. I loved dangerous. I thought I needed logic. You proved I wanted madness. You're not what I asked for, but the universe insisted. My soul recognized you before my mind refused you. We weren't meant to be, but we were meant to feel. You never made sense, but you made me feel real. I wanted a soulmate. I found a soul lesson. You are not ideal. You're irreplaceable. I begged for someone gentle. I loved your fire instead. You weren't love. You were a spiritual collision. I fell for a version of you that never existed. I chose someone who destroyed me poetically. You gave me war, and I called it intimacy. You're not what I wanted. You're what I can't forget. I loved what we could never become. You were a heartbreak I accepted as home. I saw the danger and kissed it anyway. You're the poem I never dared to finish. I lost myself in someone I didn't even plan for. You didn't meet my standards. You pierced my soul. I never imagined you. That's how I knew it was real. You broke every rule I made for love. You were never mine, only a lesson carved in fire. You ruined my type forever. You weren't ideal, just unforgettable. You weren't safe. You were sacred. I fell for what my mother warned me about. You brought storms. I danced in them willingly. I chose the chaos that felt like destiny. You weren't my plan. You were my undoing. You taught me that love and logic never shake hands. I knew you were temporary, but I gave you forever. You're the bruise I touch when I need to feel something I wanted forever with someone else. I gave it to you. I didn't need you. I craved you. I thought I was choosing love. I chose a lesson. You were a detour that felt like destiny. You weren't what I hoped for, but you were everything I felt. You weren't right for me. You were real for me. You broke me gently. I didn't expect to drown where I thought I'd fly. You weren't my dream. You were my wake-up call. I chose the love that burned, not the one that healed. You weren't ideal. You were divine interference. You fit my wounds, not my wishes. I gave my heart to the person my mind feared. You weren't supposed to matter, but you still echo. You were the wrong person at the right soul time. I wanted soft. You came sharp and stayed. You weren't what I wrote down. You were what I felt too loud. I knew your name before I ever heard it. You weren't made for me. You were sent to change me. I wanted peace. I loved the war you became. You weren't my destination, just a beautiful detour. You weren't love. You were revelation. You weren't mine to keep, but you were mine to feel. If this touched your soul, don't scroll. Like, comment your favorite quote, and subscribe for more. You're not in my future, but you shaped my past. I didn't fall in love. I fell into you. You weren't the one. You were the one who changed everything. You came uninvited but felt familiar. You didn't fit my life. You rewrote it. I didn't need more time. I needed a different version of you. You weren't perfect. You were poetry in disguise. I never wanted to love someone like you, but I did. You were the goodbye that never left my bones. You weren't a mistake, just a lesson dressed as love. You never matched my checklist, only my ache. I loved you from a place logic couldn't reach. You made me question everything I thought I knew about love. You never checked the boxes, but you cracked me open.